Hi, I'm Bree, this is Garrett, this is Tucker, and this is Tahoe, and this is our chaotic life. We are starting this YouTube channel because we are renovating a very old home in our small town in Canada. Garrett's going to tell us a little bit about the history of the home, to give you guys a little inside scoop, and then we'll walk through a little tour of the house in its original shape and how we plan on renovating it.
So, funny story. Initially, upon viewing the house, we had thought that, well, I had thought that it was 1950s, 1960s home, because that's what it looks like, all the finishes and stuff. It's very original to that era. But on possession day, I decided to kick a hole in the wall and found wood lath and plaster. Oh no!
What?
Wood lath!
Which is what?
It's gonna be a lot more work.
Oh no! What do we get ourselves into?
So I was like, oh man, this house is a lot older than I think. Not a lot, but definitely older and a lot more layers. So the house was built in 1930s or 40s, roughly. And then it was later renovated in the 50s, 60s to be a duplex. There was an addition put on the back. And then in late 60s, early 70s, it was moved from the major city by us to our little small town, and it's sat there ever since.
Yeah. So stay tuned on a little journey here while we create this into our dream home, okay?
Yep. Welcome to our humble abode. So from the street, it's actually a fairly decent looking house, but the closer you get, the worse it gets. The brick, it's not too bad, but the proportions are terrible. I mean, look at the forehead on it, you know? And yeah, standing inside that window, the top of the window is like 5 feet. So if you're 6 foot, you're just looking at the wall all the time. Pretty funny. And it's also a duplex, so there's 2 doors. Don't need 2 doors anymore. They're planning on turning it into a single family house. And there's also some electrical ran exterior, and then they just kind of stuccoed and painted over it, but you can see it's there. And it's also knob and tube, which is not recommended these days.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna spruce up the exterior. We're gonna make it look a lot more modern. We're gonna take that eyebrow on the front of the house there and just angle it to create a little bit more dimension of different materials.
Gonna extend the driveway, and then we're gonna build a garage there. That's gonna be my workshop for my business. The backyard, it's a really good sized lot. It's about 77 wide by 200 deep, so lots of room. Currently, they never graded the lot, so there's a bit of a pond most of the year, a little bit of a mosquito breeding ground. So.
Yeah, so funny enough, this house was actually supposed to have a back alley in the back. But in our particular area, they had voted against it, which has created these very deep lots. But like we said, it wasn't properly graded because it was supposed to be a back alley in the back. But yeah, so one of the first projects that we kind of took on was to level out that backyard and make it so there's no mosquito breeding ground.
Currently, the windows are very inefficient, so we're gonna replace those. But while we're at it, we might as well change the size to something we like and actually add a back door so the backyard is usable.
We plan on utilizing all the space in the backyard by building a shed, creating a little fire pit area, as well as having some room to garden. We do really enjoy gardening and planting flowers and trees and such. And so yeah, that's kind of what our plan is for the next kind of 2 summers, is to get that all fixed up.
Yeah, that'll probably be next season on
DUPLEX to Dream House?
Yeah. Yeah, right now we have to focus on the house.
So now we'll be moving through the interior of the house. So we'll start at the front door. As you're walking through the house, you can see that it's all plastered walls. They did some really heavy texturing on all the walls. And then they've, over the years, patched a lot of the areas, depending on the work that they did, to maintain the house. And all the texture is basically off.
Yeah, the texture is very unique. It's definitely someone's taste. There has been a lot of patching done and lots of coats of paint. The house actually used to have some really nice, probably 8-inch baseboards, and then they removed those and kind of patched it up and put a smaller base. So there's a really harsh line in the front main room. Yeah, so just kind of lots of stuff like that, and the stucco or the plaster is also failing in a couple areas. You could see a big crack, and to fix that, it's a lot. So
yeah,
that led us down the road to how far we want to go.
Yeah, so when we did the initial walkthrough through this house, we did realize that we wanted to basically gut the house. So we were able to negotiate to a price that was feasible to be able to gut this house and basically make it into our dream house.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I mean, initially when we bought it, we still weren't sure if we were going to do a duplex or not, because if the house was nice enough, we were just going to use it as an investment property and turn it into a duplex, live there for a couple of years, and then probably build our own dream home. But we kind of went into it when we were viewing. We just kind of like, yeah, everything just kind of needed to be redone. There was structural issues, there was plumbing issues, electrical issues. So the worse it got, the happier I got, because it just makes more sense to start new.
Yeah, and definitely, like, once you're doing that big of a reno, it's hard to keep as an investment property because you're never sure if you're going to get out exactly what you put in. That being said, making it a single family home in the area that we're in, there is lots of great comparables that we know that if we decided that this wasn't our dream house down the line, or that we wanted to do something else, that we would be able to sell it for a lot more than what we're putting into it. And so, yeah, now the main floor bedroom, we call this the thinking room. When we got possession of it, it had a bunch of cork boards all over the walls. And yeah, it's in pretty good condition. But again, just lots of broken up rooms on this main floor because it was considered one full suite. That we would like to make it into more of an open flow house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the main floor is going to be more of a open concept.
Yeah. The third room on the main floor there is the dining room. It's probably the nicest room out of them all, but it is the most recently built. That is where the addition was added on. It has some original hardwood floors.
From the 50s, 60s area.
Yes, but that's the only place in the house that they ran hardwood floors. Because we're making it open concept, it doesn't really make sense to keep it because there would only be one section that has those hardwoods. So we'll be running new vinyl plank throughout the entire main level.
In terms of framing, the joists actually run the opposite way there than the rest of the house, so it's really weird how they did it, and it's also 2 inches higher than the rest of the house, so I'm gonna have to go in and reframe that.
So on the main floor, when they had added the addition, they had also built a bathroom to make it 2 separate suites. The bathroom actually has a window that you cannot see from the bathroom, but that they just drywalled over top of half of it, but you can see it through the hallway. So there was lots of little patch jobs here and there, just to make do with what they had. But yeah, the main floor bathroom there is just very, very standard small bathroom. There's like carpet on the floor. They redid some of the plumbing, but never repatched the ceiling or the walls. So it's all open. So it needs some work. This house is being sold as is. So there's bound to be things that need to be fixed, which seems to be almost everything.
Yeah, that bathroom is just big enough. Everything's definitely done on a budget. And yeah, when they fixed all the plumbing, I assume that the copper water lines were just pitted and starting to leak. So they replaced it with PEX, but you could see where all the original drains ran. They were pretty much cut all through the joist, and that's on the very end. So that's where it's supporting. It should be supporting. So it's actually a miracle that the bathtub did not fall through.
So moving on to the kitchen, it is a pretty standard kitchen for the era that it was built in. The one back wall panels.
It's actually a good size room. Like, it does have a lot of potential to be a beautiful kitchen, but
it's very, I think, low budget built, where they just did like the one back wall of cabinets, and then usually you have your fridge and your stove, which is pretty standard for especially like duplexes and rentals. Like, they do like one wall of cabinetry with like a sink, and then you add your appliances.
Yeah, especially at the time, the 50s, 60s era.
Exactly.
Kitchens definitely aren't what they are today.
Yeah, and like if we were planning to keep everything, it is a good sized room to, like, if you just made like a nice L kitchen, it could be very functional. But because we're doing as much work as we are, because there's aluminum wiring, because there's knob and tube, because there's all these different things, we might as well change the way that everything's gonna run anyways, because we're not keeping anything.
Yeah, and the whole floor underneath it has to be reframed, so it's really not a big deal to change everything at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
What we liked about this house is it's a great size. It's about a little under 1,600 square feet.
Which, we lived in a bigger house previously, and personally I found it to be just too big and too much to clean. So I'm very happy with a little bit of a smaller footprint, but just a lot more functional.
Yeah, a lot more usable square footage. Our last house was just kind of big for the sake of being big, and rather than this house, it's going to be a lot more intentional.
Yes.
And yeah, the space will be used a lot better.
Yeah. So I guess we can move on to the upstairs. So heading up the stairs, you can see there's lots of
I forgot about the metal cabinets.
Oh, the metal cabinets! So, yes, they did add extra cabinetry into the kitchen. And when they did that, I'm not sure where they got these cabinets from, but they're more of like an industrial style cabinet, probably used for more so like a garage or things like that. But it is metal. They are metal cabinets. When you knock on them, they make noise. Honestly, we're not getting rid of them. No. We're taking them out and we're going to use them in our garage.
Yeah.
Because that's
perfect
for that.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of a nice keep.
Yeah, super random, but yeah. So, moving upstairs, these stairs are quite steep, not great headroom, and that plaster, beautiful. Here's a great example of pretty much what all the walls look like.
Up close, because from far away it's hard to see until you get close and you're like, whoa, that is a lot worse than I thought it was.
In the stairwell, there's pretty good lighting in this shot anyways. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Good from far from good.
Yeah, so this upper level unit has 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and then a main area with a living space, kitchen combined together. The previous owner who lived there, we believe, used it as a single family home, so they had opened a doorway between the first level and the second level. And so we do believe they were using the upper level as more of just rooms to sleep in, and they weren't using the kitchen up there. That being said, there was 3 bedrooms up there. One of them is very small. I don't even know if it fits a single bed.
2 of them are very small.
Yes, true enough. We do believe they're using one of the small rooms as maybe like a more crafting room or, I don't know, office space. So as you can see, there's carpet tile all over the floors. There's linoleum flooring as the tubs surround. There's lots of really interesting finishes that pull it all together. Purple tile, The secondary bedroom on that second story is the largest one out of the three. Honestly, the carpet and stuff throughout the place was very clean. Everything was very clean when we moved in and when we got possession of the house. Like they did maintain the area to like a very clean standard. There just wasn't a lot of upgrades over the years, which honestly we are not mad about because we're very happy to take something and turn it new and not have the hassle of feeling like you're ripping out something that's brand new. Yeah, so this bedroom is quite a bit bigger. We actually call this one the rage room because the closet. The rage room because
recording studio. Good sound dampening.
Yeah, they put carpet all over the walls in the closet. So I don't know if they were recording something, making a little bit of a recording studio or what.
I think they just had some leftover carpet and did not want to patch the walls.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
So moving on to the third bedroom, this is the one that we thought they were using as a closet space. You can see there's some nice decals on the windows there. They've got a lot of closet organizers. Some over-the-door hangers for shoes and fun stuff like that. But it's just very small, right? Like they had previously tried to rent out this place before selling, thinking that maybe they could rent it. But it didn't seem like they got many bites, and so ultimately they just decided to just let it go and sell it. But yeah, so moving on to the back of the house. So this was like the living area kitchen. As you can see, the windows throughout the house, not very energy efficient, as we said previously. So they had lots of plastic insulation between all the windows, some towels, things like that, to try and keep the hot air from escaping.
Yeah, the windows are essentially just panes of glass, and you move. There's no insulation to it, and when any breeze comes through, they rattle.
As we move forward, there's a nice little division between the living room and the kitchen. In the kitchen, they've got some paneling on the walls. Very basic style for a duplex kitchen. The one back wall of cabinets with a sink in the middle. Then you'd have your appliances on the side. It didn't come with appliances in the upper level.
Nor really a place to put them. Or any wiring for the stove.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what they had done previously, or maybe if they rented it with just like a cooktop.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. When you look out that view out of that back window, now that's the reason why we bought this house.
It is a nice lot. Quite a few mature trees. So it feels like your own little paradise.
Exactly.
Or at least potential to.
Lots of potential.
That's what we see, potential. Going downstairs, mid-stairs, there's that door that you saw in the exterior, and that comes out at ground level. So the basement's actually only 5 feet underground, which isn't bad. That allows us some nice large windows. All the windows are currently covered with carpet. Yeah, great size windows in the basement. Very insulated. The foundation was a big check mark. It's actually in good condition. Needs a little bit of waterproofing, but that's kind of every house in Canada where we live. I would always recommend waterproofing. Another plus with this basement is, well, I guess the house in general, is a newer furnace and hot water tank. So they did upkeep what they needed to, but I imagine it's because the furnace was running non-stop to heat this house.
Because there was no energy efficiency whatsoever.
No, the windows were drafty. I couldn't imagine.
Let's move to the inside of the house.
Yeah, so the main floor.
Yes.
What are you gonna do?
Blow out all the walls.
Blow it up. Get rid of them all.
So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take out all the floor joists in the second story. We're replacing them with an LVL system. It's not what it's called. LVLs.
No, it's going to be an open web joist, so it's going to be a truss essentially. And yeah, so there will be 0 structural walls on the main floor, which allows us to have a completely open concept layout.
There'll probably be a lot of people that put in the comments like, why didn't you just put an engineered beam through? Why didn't you do any of these other options? To be honest, that is definitely an option, and if we were still trying to use one of the spaces to live in while doing these renovations, then maybe we would have done something like that. But by changing out the floor drain system, we end up with way more headroom, and we have a lot more flexibility of running like all of our ducts and our wiring and things like that, because we don't have this engineered beam that's in the middle of the space.
The beam would have to span 40 feet, so it would most likely be steel, which is a little harder to work with, and yeah, you're not getting your airflow in your ducts across that. You'd have to go under it, so there would have to be a lot more bulkhead. Rather than this system, it's actually very affordable. Yeah.
Probably cheaper than getting an engine.
Oh, for sure. And having to deal, like, that's heavy.
You need lots of manpower to put that in.
Lots of manpower and lots of tools that I don't currently have, nor am I necessarily interested in getting at this point. So yeah, this just works well for us.
Yeah, and so kind of starting from the front of the house, like we said, we're changing out the front door. We're making it an 8-foot front door. We'll have some nice organization, storage for jackets right at the front door with a little bit of a bench to put on your shoes. As you're kind of walking through the door, you'll be able to see kind of the stairwell to go to the basement on our right-hand side there. So yeah, gazing to the left-hand side, this is where our dining room is going to be.
Nice big window.
Nice light fixture over the table. And then it'll flow right into our kitchen. Our kitchen, we are going to have a very large island. What's the size of it?
144 inches.
144 inches.
Which is 12 feet.
12 feet. A 12-foot kitchen island.
Yeah.
This back wall will have cabinetry for pantry storage. It will have a cooktop and a wall oven with microwave and a fridge. Our island's gonna have a sink,
a dishwasher, and storage.
And more storage. The island will be long enough to have about like 5 bar stools. So rotating to the other side, we have what we call a little bit of a buffet area.
Bar.
When people come over and there's lots of people and you need to sit people at the island as well as the kitchen table, we're hoping to have all the food on the buffet and people can serve themselves from there. So we'll have a little bit of a bar sink there as well as a bar fridge. So that's where like all of our drinks like bubblies and
water,
alcoholic beverages and things like that.
We like water.
We do like water. Then that flows right into our living room.
The stairs are winder style because the ceiling height actually in all these areas is 9 feet, so a little bit higher, but that means your staircase has to be that much higher, so to make up some space.
So then it flows right into the living room. So we've kind of designed this space around the couch that we already have that we bought for our previous house.
Yeah.
And so it'll fit perfectly in this space. As you can see, there's a very large back window and we have a pretty large front window as well. That's where we're hoping to get the majority of our sunlight in, is through the front and the back. And then we are going to create a custom entertainment unit with little fireplace.
3-sided fireplace.
And as we said on the exterior, we're adding a door to the back of the house, which right now they don't have access to the backyard through a door. And so we'll be adding the doorway just next to that window there. A little bit of a place to put jackets, boots, things like that we want for the outside space. And then we're hoping to put a powder room there as well. So when we entertain outside, it's about 2 steps in that you can go to the bathroom. It's not like you're tracking mud throughout the entire house, or when you are entertaining inside the house, it's not like everyone's staring at the people coming in and out of the bathroom.
This is about the 3rd rendition now, but I think that this makes the most sense so that it's not off the dining room or the kitchen.
Moving to the design of the upper level, we are going to have a transom window that's in the stairwell there to allow some sunlight into our hallway. Leading off of the hallway, the first thing you'll see is that we have 2 equal-sized bedrooms. Those will be kids' bedrooms, but for right now, one will be my office and one will be Garrett's office. And then at the end of that hallway will be a kid's bath. So it'll be just like a shower tub combo. Some nice funky floors, some cool design elements.
Yeah.
And yeah, a nice vanity.
Yeah, this design, it's all done in SketchUp and kind of limited with design choices. So some of them are just random and they really aren't what we were gonna do, but it's the idea, something fun, something a little bit different. We definitely want to mash our styles and come up with something truly unique.
So in the hallway between the kids' bedrooms and the master bedroom, we have an upper level laundry room. And in that laundry room, we'll have some extra space for storing some items. Some linens.
Linens, cleaning supplies.
Things like that. We're hoping to have a little bit of a tub sink there and washer and dryer.
Master bedroom. It's pretty good size. You can fit a nice king bed in there. Pretty simple. Have some pendant lights beside the bed. A transom window in.
We're going to be doing a custom closet. Not sure what it's going to totally look like yet, but we're creating an L-shaped closet that will flow right into the ensuite. And so the ensuite, we're looking for a little bit more of an elevated look. We'll do a double sink, vanity, nice walk-in shower, not closet.
The basement is pretty standard.
Yeah.
It's just kind of an open space. Like, we have some ideas of what we want to do, but for now, it's mostly going to be open space, except for in the middle, there's going to be a centrally located mechanical room. So it's easy to disperse all the mechanicals throughout the house. Beside the mechanical room is going to be another bathroom in the basement.
Which we probably won't do soon. We'll just kind of have that roughed in so it's ready to go in the future when we have a little bit more funds to continue on the renovation.
More time.
More time, more money, more doggos. Just kidding. Eventually we're hoping to add another bedroom into the basement, but we're not sure what that looks like just yet.
Yeah, and a rec room, office, along with a little bit of storage.
Solution for certain like bins of Christmas stuff or whatever can't be outside.
Yeah, but I think before we finish the basement, we gotta wait for these guys to grow up because we don't want them making holes in the drywall. These guys love the mini sticks.
So that's kind of the tour of our house and what we plan to do with it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Be happy to answer questions about the house. And yeah, if you have any suggestions on something you think would be even better, we're definitely open to suggestions as well. Stay tuned on our little journey of renovating our house, and hopefully we'll be back in a week or two.
Catch ya on the flippity flip.